Good morning, everyone. Today I am in Lock Haven, Pennsylvania, which I believe is in Clinton County. Really not sure what we're going to see in this video, but quite often it's the unknown that really interests me. Just kind of heading out somewhere and exploring, and let's see what we see. So as I was running along, I see the building right across the street, Poorman Gallery, and it looks like that is the home to the Clinton County Historical Society. I think I'm gonna run off this trail and check out if this is some type of a historical site. Established in 1831. So I'm thinking this is a museum. It does say something here. In 1865, what do we got going on here? Okay, so Hurricane Agnes flood in 1972. It was restored as a mid-19th century house. So I guess it was donated as a museum. Wow. Anyway, let me just listen to the church bells. That church is beautiful. We should absolutely check that out before I leave. Now, I'm saying it's a church, but I don't know. It almost looks like it might be a government building. Okay, so I thought I would check this bridge out. It's approximately 800 feet across, and at one time it was one of the longest covered bridges in all of Pennsylvania. It actually has a pretty interesting history. It burnt down in 1919, and they believe it was arson because they found kerosene on the scene, so they believe that was the accelerant. Never actually made an arrest, but the local story here is that it was a unfaithful husband's wife burned it down so he wouldn't come home. So whether that's factual or not, I don't know. But it is talked about here as that's what people believe happened. But as I said before, there never was an arrest. All right, let's head down here, which is kind of cool. Look at this. It's, I'm assuming it's some type of theater, right? And maybe they do fireworks out here, maybe on the 4th of July. Maybe they have concerts. There's a little floating, I guess, that could be used as a stage. Other than when I explored Zindale Park, I don't think I've ever been in Lock Haven before. So this is a first for me. This is nice. Nice little riverwalk area. The view of that bridge from the other side. Beautiful building across the street, which I will definitely be checking that out before I leave. Sorry for being out of breath. Today's adventure is part YouTube video, part workout. Okay, so this is Jeremiah Church, and Jeremiah Church is the founder of Clinton County. June of 1839. Wow. All right, Nira, let's see. This was a courthouse. So the beautiful building we're looking at across the street was a courthouse. So I'm guessing it's probably the main courthouse in Clinton County. Don't know that for sure, but I would think so. And this guy, Jeremiah Church, was born in 1796 in New York. He arrived in this area in the fall of 1833. I was hoping that this was a loop and we could just loop around the other side, run around the entire river, but it is not. I was just talking to another runner, and he said what this does is it goes all the way down to the college, and then on this direction it ends at an airport. All right, so I'm just looking over here at this I guess mountain peak, And there was a storyboard I was just reading, and it tells me that it's locally known as Peter's Steps. Legend has it that Peter's Steps is named for Peter Grove, a Revolutionary War soldier. He lived here, I guess, in like the 1700s, and apparently he was scouting for Native Americans when several of them snuck up on him. I guess he was up here, and his only escape was off the face of the cliff. So he and his horse leaped off, landing in the river, and they swam to safety. It also says on the storyboard that that story is sort of possibly folklore, and maybe not exactly what happened. So the best way to blindly explore a town is usually find the waterway, if there's a major creek or a river. I believe this is the Susquehanna. I mean, I'm 95% sure, maybe even 98% sure. So when you follow like a river, you're going to see a lot of the nicest properties, and you're also going to see a lot of history, a lot of because there were always mills or old factories, because they needed the water, I guess, to power a lot of the machinery. And also, like, I know for the logging industry, you needed to be near the water because that's how they moved the logs down the Susquehanna. I'm gonna guess there's a huge logging history here. So these beautiful violet flowers are all over the place along this trail. Love me some wildflowers. Beautiful. So yeah, basically is telling me, or confirming what I said earlier, the lumber business was the economic choice in Lock Haven. The West Branch Boom Company was chartered in 1849. I see a historical marker. And I think what I'm going to do is probably turn it into a little bit of a loop, go down to the college, and then maybe run along this street and see what we see. But that said, I can't walk by this historical marker without checking it out. So it says Fort Reed, and it was William Reed's stockaded house. So it was actually the westernmost defense for the Susquehanna Valley settlers. Always a fan of these old clocks that you're going to find almost every small Pennsylvania town. I don't know, maybe small towns throughout the country, most likely, but I tend to see a lot of these where they're up on a pole and it's a four-sided clock. Real curious to just see what we have down here, if anything. Try not to break my ankle or my face. Or any bone, actually. At one time, there must have been a canal. So maybe it ran here, where this trail is. I'm sure this was all built up to guard against flooding, but maybe the canal ran on this side, or maybe it ran on that side of the river. I do see a remnant from the past here. This looks like it was a boat launch. Not necessarily all that old. It's modern concrete, but certainly hasn't been used in a while because we had this all built up. Well, as I'm walking along this portion beyond the trail, obviously these are railroad tracks, but I'm looking at this little concrete structure here, and it has a gate on it. So, I don't know, asking all my railroad friends, did the railways have gates that could close? Or was this once the site of the Lock Haven Canal? I mean, it makes sense, right? Here's the Susquehanna. Here's the rail line. And here's this huge wall with a gate. Of course, I'm just speculating. That's what I do. I speculate. And I do a little research when I get home. I'm gonna stay off the tracks. I'm gonna respect that because who knows, it's dangerous down here. But I do want to show you these gates. There's one on this side, and there's one on that side. So maybe what we're looking through right now was once the canal. Maybe yes, maybe no. As I said before, I have no idea why they would have gates that could close off a rail line. And maybe they just didn't remove them because they didn't want to destroy the history of it, maybe? I don't know. Let's get back up there and get back on trail. So we are back at the sign for Fort Reed, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run along the road, or maybe run along this road, but kind of head back towards where I parked, but explore the town a little bit more. All right, so coming upon this beautiful church, which we saw this from the trail. Immaculate Conception Church. It's got some years behind it though. It's beautiful. Let's just take a quick look up here. And I want to be respectful walking around a church, especially on a Sunday. Look at the old door. Beautiful. Maybe we can find a cornerstone with the date on it. "1904. Beautiful. Lock Haven was a booming town in 1904. But it certainly still has its beauty and charm. Some beautiful homes in this area. Wow, look at that house. Beautiful. Reminds me of Millionaire's Row in Williamsport. Not sure what type of architecture that is, but it's beautiful. Look at this place. Yeah, I'm thinking this was their Millionaire's Row. Oh, what's this? I always find stuff like that interesting. U.S. Army. Okay. Okay, so I turned off that street because looking down, this looks like this might have been the industrial area at one time, or the business district. So we're on Main Street now, and I'm loving this old Americana. This, I would assume, was the center of the business district. We got another church there. Just look at some of these old buildings. This one here at the top says Fox Building at the top. This one says J Camp. And this must have been a bank. It still is a bank, Northwest Bank. It says the Lock Haven Trust and Save Deposit Company. I see a lot of that when I'm exploring in Philadelphia as well, where a lot of the buildings were built by the businesses. So there's signage that has stood the test of time, which I think is pretty cool, and it adds a lot of charm to a community. Again, another church. Welcome to Fallon Alley, the gateway to the downtown. That's kind of cool. Yeah, definitely. I'm thinking this place is doing pretty well. Look at this. This is nice. Got some murals, which is refreshing. And see how they have all these lights up here? I'm thinking they probably have outdoor dining or some small shows here. Oh, here we go. Lock Haven Summer Concert Series. Very cool. And it's refreshing to see this as opposed to, sadly, what you see in most alleys that are urban, at least, is graffiti. So pretty cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, here you go. So here's the signs of the outdoor dining. Make art. I don't know what they do here. Oh, that's kind of cool. You just put your art in there and share it. Very cool. And this is usually books. It's empty, but very nice. The Riverside Saloon with the historic lights up there, which may or may not be original, but I love how they are restoring these buildings and making a fun downtown area. It's very cool. Didn't expect to see this. Like I said, I really don't know much about Lock Haven. We were headed back to Main Street. Wow, I love that. I don't know if you can see that sign over there. Genuine Bull Durham smoking tobacco. How cool is that? And what town would be complete in Pennsylvania without a Masonic temple? We are coming upon this, which I believe was the Clinton County Courthouse. And I believe it still is. But before going around to the front to check out the municipal building, I spotted an old movie theater, the Roxy Theater. No idea how long it's been there, but I'm thinking it's got some history. And if you're somebody that grew up in Lock Haven, you probably have some memories of maybe first dates, movies you saw back in the day. And I'm not sure why it is, but there's a lot of Roxy theaters. I know there's a Roxy in Philly, and I know I've seen that before, so I don't know. Is there a reason they named a lot of theaters Roxy? Maybe yes, maybe no, but I will certainly do some research. All right, and here's another view of the municipal building. And there is a storyboard. It says it was formed on June 21st, 1839 out of Lycoming and Center counties, which is interesting. So maybe Clinton County, it was named probably for New York's Governor DeWitt Clinton. Site of the Tyadotin Declaration of Independence in 1776. In the 19th century, a lumbering center, Lock Haven, the county seat, became a seat in 1870. So I'm thinking Clinton County at one time was part of either Lycoming or Center County. Not sure. And here's the front of the building. Another old building. And that is the trail we were on earlier. I want to follow this trail down and find the Piper Museum. I believe there's an airport there. Piper Aviation Museum. The Aviation Museum is straight ahead, probably about a quarter mile. I can see the airport over there. I'm thinking this is where they used to manufacture the airplanes. Now, this is open. I would love to go in and take a walk in there, but I'm not going to. But I'm thinking this was probably the main entrance when all the all the workers would enter into the factory here. This was a booming factory at one time. Looks like it's almost being used for storage now. On my way to the museum, this appears to be Clinton County government offices, but we've got some relics from World War II, I believe, maybe Korean War. World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and Persian Gulf. We got a little memorial here. Dedicated to the memory of the men and women of Clinton County who sacrificed their lives during World War II. Oh my God. Look at all those names. You know, I say this all the time. People from my generation, we are spoiled. I mean, this is just Clinton County. Between 1941 and 1945. We owe so much to that generation. I know I sound preachy, but I can't say it enough. We really do. All right, we made it. The Piper Aviation Museum. Straight ahead. Sorry for the beeping horn. Somebody needs to turn their car alarm off. Piper Aircraft Corporation, founded as Taylor Brothers in 1927. In the 1930s, William T. Piper purchased the company and moved it to Lock Haven. In 1937, Piper Aircraft Corp. employed more than 2,000 people at its height and manufactured 77,000 general aviation aircraft, including 20,000 J3 Cubs, which was their most popular model. And in World War II, thousands were modified Cubs. L4 Grasshoppers served to train pilots and provided reconnaissance. So I'm thinking this is one of those Grasshoppers. So I'm not actually going to go into the museum today for a couple reasons. I'm out running, I'm sweaty, I'm nasty. And not only that, I don't have any money on me, and I'm assuming there's probably a charge. You always find the best stuff behind a building or off trail. This one appears to be in pretty good shape still. Busted out windows. The propellers are gone. It is a cool old plane just sitting out here behind the museum. So I was reading a little bit about what happened to Piper Aircraft and why they're no longer in Lock Haven. One of the contributing factors was in 1972, Hurricane Agnes hit this area pretty hard. I believe it flooded the production area and destroyed a lot of the planes. Or destroyed a lot of the equipment, so much so that it caused the company to go into a little bit of a financial crisis. Here we have a couple other bodies of planes here without the wings. So maybe they just keep these back here for spare parts. Or like I said, maybe they are going to restore them, because they're kind of classics at this point. So what happened in 1972 with Agnes was not a good thing. Check that out. Check out what's left of the cockpit. Not much. If you've ever been up in one of these planes, or maybe not even these planes, but something like that, which I was once, it is a whole different experience than being up in an airline aircraft. It's bumpy. You really feel like you're flying. I mean, it's a whole different feeling. It's a little scary at first, but at the same time, it's kind of wonderful. Another contributing factor to the end of Piper here in Lock Haven was in the 80s, the cost of liability insurance became astronomical. And that, as well as what happened in 1972, caused a lot of financial strain. And I believe in 1987, they shut down operation here. Sort of sad. So time marches on, and change is inevitable. But it really is nice when you see communities making an effort to keep some things intact through small museums, historical societies, and even trying to keep some of the structures intact. All right, so I think I'm gonna end my video here. I just wanna thank you so much for joining me. I know this video was a little different than some of my hiking videos or checking out ruins, but it's always kind of cool to walk around a community and learn a little bit about it. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you want to give it a like, that would be awesome as well. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much.